Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Neil Gaiman's Coraline. So, we're going to be talking a little bit about the film. Now, I've already shot the film. So, in this case, that video has already been done before I was able to read the book, because I was waiting on a copy of the book from my library. So, it's a very interesting book. Age range depends on your kid. This is mild horror. I will say that. It didn't really see, it's more creepy than it is gory. So as compared to, say, the actual massive horror books that I'm covering right now, which would be the Last Apprentice series, which gets dark and gory and dark and gory. Very dark and gory. This is creepy. This is more on the creepy side. So what the story tells is you have Coraline, her parents and her have moved into a part of a house. So they have the pretty much kind of the central part of the house. You have a house with an attic and a basement, and then you have the main house. Well, they have the main house, and then there's these two strange little ladies who live downstairs in the basement apartment, and then there's an older man who lives upstairs, who's supposedly like Eastern European and is training invisible mice. And the two women downstairs used to be actresses. So she's kind of bored. She's kind of alone. This is very British. So there is British talk in here of school uniforms and starting terms, things like that, because the author is in fact British. So it is very interesting. So they move into the house. Her parents are mostly ignoring her. They're working. Her father does IT stuff. They're on their computers and kind of mostly, again, ignoring her. So she wanders off into the garden. Apparently there's some old well. She discovers a few things. And then she discovers this door, like this weird little door in I think the formal living room. And she eventually crawls through this tunnel and into an identical house where she has this other mother who's slightly creepy looking. And things happen, and this cat that she sees on the other side talks to her, and is a cat, doesn't have a name. It's a black cat. And she realizes this is a recreation, and she has the other father as well. So, and it gets slightly creepy, and they want her to stay, and they're very cuddly, and they're paying attention to her. But she realizes this isn't my family. So she goes back, realizes her parents spent the night, her parents aren't there. She eats whatever in the fridge and wakes up and realizes that basically her parents have been stolen by this other mother. So she has to go back and get her parents back. So she goes back there, and she argues she wants her parents back, and the other mother locks her in a dark room where she meets three ghosts. Essentially, their souls and hearts have been taken, and essentially by this other mother some very long time ago. And so she decides to make a deal with this other mother. And she basically plays a game, kind of a finding game. She has to be able to find these three little, wherever she's basically kept their souls, as well as her parents. So she goes around, the cat helps her. She also has the ladies downstairs have given her a rock with a hole through it. And she realizes if she looks through this, she can see where these souls are kept. So she goes to different places. She finds, I think one of them, they're in the shape of little marbles in the toy box in her other room. She finds one downstairs with where the old ladies, the other images of the downstairs ladies would be, instead of these women in the real world have crazy little dogs. In this world, they turned into bat dogs, so it's kind of creepy. And she has to basically come over her fear and get this other little marble. And then the third one is upstairs with the crazy old man and his now present rats. And the cat is with her through most of this. And It actually helps her because a rat has the other marble. It kills the rat, and she's able to get the marble. And of course, they keep telling her, it's like she's getting madder. The other mother she's getting madder because you're capturing us. Now, she had, by this time, realizes where her parents are. They're in a snow globe on the mantle, because in her other home, there's nothing on their mantle above the fireplace. So she gets back downstairs, and things are deteriorating around her. The old man upstairs pretty much collapses, I think either into rats or into just dust. The other father's disappeared, so things are kind of collapsing around her. So she gets back into the house, and they try to convince her to stay. Like, we'll do all sorts of things. She'll get whatever you want. And she's like, yeah, that doesn't work. It's like, if I got whatever I want, it doesn't mean anything. So she now tells the other mothers, like, I know where my parents are. They're hidden in the hallway between the two worlds. And because she knows this one will gloat. So or this monster, supposedly, who's looking less and less human. So she gets the other mother to unlock the door while she inches forward holding the cat, because the cat can't escape now because everything outside is collapsed. So it used to be able to cross between the worlds on its own, and now it can't. So she actually throws the cat at the other mother and grabs the globe, and the cat, basically she convinces the cat's like, just come on, let's get the heck out of here. And they run through the tunnel. They have to close the door behind them, and she has to get the ghosts, both of her parents and of these three young people who had been captured, because she has the marbles in her pocket, and to help her close that door. And then she runs, and she knows if she falls in this hallway, this regular old blackened hallway, and she may never get out. So she gets to the other side and is able to get the door closed and locked behind her, so she has the key. So, and then she climbs into a chair. She apologizes to the cat, and she falls asleep. Her mother wakes her up. Her world's kind of back to normal, but she goes to sleep that night, and the children's souls are returned, and they have a picnic, and they play, and they eat dessert, and these kids pretty much say, it's over for us, but it's not over for you. She may still be coming after you. Our souls are free. And then they go off and go into whatever is beyond. So she wakes up and realizes that the spidery hand of the other mother is still there. And she is able to, because it wants the key, because it wants, eventually wants to be able to lure people back in there. So she gets her dolls and some tea sets and goes to the well and removes there's a big covering of plywood or something over the well. She removes that. She covers it with a tablecloth, puts her dolls kind of on the outside, and coaxes and kind of puts the key in the middle, and coaxes the hand, which appears, goes over the key, and falls through the hole. So she gathers up her dolls and stuff, covers it up. It's like, yeah, because she listens to make sure it falls to the bottom. Like, she hears it plop in the bottom of this well, and she covers it up, so it's gone. It's locked up down in this well. So, and the cat appears. She pets the cat. Cat kind of stands on the well. It's like, yes, everything is well. She pets the cat. The cat goes off. And she goes back home and goes to bed and is ready for school the next day. So that's really the end of the book. So again, it's more on the suspenseful, creepy side than the major horror side, which is really known what this author is known for. He's very much more known for his dark horror and the Sandman graphic novels is what he's known for. So I have not covered those. He was a very good friend of I really can't remember his name, Pratchett. So who is the Discworld, which I haven't really gotten into yet. One of the YouTubers that I admire and watch quite a bit, Don Noble, is a big fan of his. So, but it is a very good book. Age range. Again, it depends on your kids. It always depends on the reading level and their personality. So again, this is more on the less dark, deep horror, more on the creepy side. So maybe just kind of looking at this, 10. I always kind of say 6th grade-ish. That age range is because I don't know, my head doesn't wrap around the age rangings, and this is how a lot of these books are situated. So maybe about 6th grade-ish. So 11, 12, maybe 10, which is like 4th. I'm trying to think. My niece is going into 4th grade next year, I believe. She's turning 10. I could be wrong, but maybe about 10, depending on their reading level. It's late elementary, early middle school age. So wherever you would sit that. And again, they have to kind of like that dark, kind of creepy horror, because a sensitive kid's not going to do this. I skimmed some of this just because I have a toddler, so it's difficult for me to read through these books. It's not too long. It's not on a massive, it's not something I would consider that long. How many pages is this? About 162, and that's about a third of a page through. So it's not too long. If you like kids who like creepy, you could definitely read it to them. There's nothing really questionable in this. So if you happen to be your family personality, your kid likes the kind of creepy, it could be read aloud. It could be read aloud, creepy, read aloud. Again, it's very suspenseful. So there's a lot of suspense here. And just, again, a touch of the kind of the adventure, creepy kind of style here. So still a very, very good book. Compared to the other horror book, again, the other books that I'm covering is The Last Apprentice, which I will admit I'm not a horror fan. Those books were a chore to get through for me. So those things are pretty much filmed and done already. For reference, the next major series I'm doing for this channel is the Princess Diaries. And I started those because I needed light fluff to get over the massive darkness of that series. So if you're really interested in dark horror, watch those videos and read those books. This is, again, on the creepy side, still a very, very good book. The film is very good. Again, there's some of the differences you're going to find are there's a little boy in the film that's not in the book. That's kind of somebody to help along. And he mentions his grandmother, which is not in the book at all. They don't mention the person who's renting it to them. The tunnel scenery is a little bit different because it's just kind of a dark tunnel. In the book, it's more of a weird, almost cloth-like thing in the film. So there's a few other differences. Otherwise, it stays pretty true to the part of the story. The spider aspect is pushed more in the film than is in the book. So, but again, it's still a good representation. So if you like one, you'll definitely like the other. And they're a good kind of comparison to see how a adaptation can be done right. And other benefit is Gaiman himself likes the adaptation. So when the author likes the adaptation, it's always a real good thing. So that's really it for this book review. Very good book. Highly recommended if you like the creepy, not too much on the scary. But again, late elementary, early middle school, and up. Even think high schools wouldn't mind this book. So very good book. Highly recommend. If you like what you see, be sure to check out the rest of the channel. As I said, I'm covering a much darker series, which is the Last Apprentice series. I've covered the Ranger's Apprentice series by a different author already, so that's already up. I'm covering the Princess Diaries coming in the new year, so that will be 2023, along with some more Tamora Pierce. I've already covered her Circle of Magic quartet, and the Circle opens, as well as the Will of the Empress. And then I'm covering her Song of the Linus quartet and the Immortals quartet coming in the new year. I also cover a lot of single books. I've covered some classics. I've covered the Anne of Green Gables series, but I kind of did that early on and kind of lumped them together. I may do them separately at some point. You can check out that video. I do a decent sized overview of that, as well as the Wizard of Oz. Those are some of my earliest videos. I also do some homeschooling, secular homeschooling information, general homeschooling information, if you're interested, as well as some various travel videos and different things, as well as some educational stuff, which is coming. By the time you guys see this, this is February of 2022, so this is going to be October. We may get some more of the educational stuff. By the time you guys see this, my daughter will be 3, so we will see if we add some more of that. But otherwise, like and subscribe. Leave a positive comment if you have one, and check out what I got. Thank you.